This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We begin today's show in Gaza, where humanitarian agencies say a small amount of flour has been delivered in northern Gaza for the first time in months, as the UN Food Agency warns famine is imminent and 70% of Palestinians in Gaza are facing catastrophic hunger. This comes as UNRWA, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, is reporting 1 in 3 children under the age of 2 in northern Gaza is now acutely malnourished, as Israel continues to block most aid from entering Gaza. On Friday, a ship carrying 200 tons of aid arrived in Gaza from Cyprus, but aid groups say far more aid is desperately needed inside Gaza. Despite growing international criticism, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing to move ahead with a full-scale ground invasion of the southern city of Rafah, where over 1.4 million Palestinians are now seeking refuge. For more, we go to Rafah, where we're joined by Mohammed Abou-Lebda. He's a poet and a translator. He used to translate Edgar Allan Poe, but now translates for the International Medical Corps. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Mohammed. Thank you for joining us today on Democracy Now! Can you describe the situation on the ground in Rafah and tell us about your city?
Okay, hi. It's my pleasure to be here. Actually, as you may see in the background, I'm talking about the tents that are here. And I want to say that every single street in Rafah city is full of tents because after people were forced to be displaced from the rest areas of Gaza Strip from north until Khan Yunis in the south, and they didn't find any shelter but Rafah city, which actually, let me say that the border towns, Rafah is a border town, and the border towns usually are neglected, and it's not even known only for geographers or even border guards. So Rafah was suffering in the normal days from bad infrastructure, lack of many basic life needs. So actually, let me say, in the war of 2014, the people of Rafah were demanding to have a hospital, because we here until now, we are in 2024, we don't have a suitable hospital that can provide a good medical services to the people of Rafah. To just describe the horrible situation that is Rafah is living, Rafah used to have a population of 250,000 people only. Now we have over than 1.4 million people without any suitable infrastructure, or without not providing them with the necessary basic life needs. Okay, the situation in the north of Gaza is really horrible, but let me say, in Rafah, there is no big difference actually. People here are suffering from several things. Actually, you need to wait in lines, and maybe you may spend the whole day in lines just to have some bread, or even to have a clean water, because most of the water here is polluted and it's not suitable for the human use. It's important to mention that above all of this, the shooting and the bombing is still continuing here in Rafah. Actually, even if Rafah was declared as a safe place.
Mohammed Abou-Lebda, the Biden administration has said they have a red line that would be the Prime Minister having the Israeli troops engaging in a full ground invasion in Rafah if he doesn't present a plan for how Palestinians would be dealt with on the ground, civilians. Israel announced it wants to transfer most of the more than 1 million Palestinians in Rafah to what it calls humanitarian islands in other parts of Gaza. Can you explain what that means and what people are saying, how they are preparing?
Okay, actually, to be honest, I don't know what does it mean even, because I never heard about something called safe islands or something like that in Gaza Strip. So it is the first time I heard it after reading the news. Actually, there is no effective plan that can easily transfer or move over than 1.4 million people here from Gaza Strip, so from Rafah city. I mean, even to another areas where the IDF is still working there. So to be clear, it's not an effective plan. Actually, to be honest, me and the rest of the Rafah people don't know even what they are talking about, because it is the first time to hear about this. But I can ask that the American government is to put a real pressure and a serious pressure on the Israeli government so they can prevent them seriously and honestly to invade Rafah, because invading Rafah means that there is a true catastrophe that is coming. Even if we are still living in a catastrophe, actually, because the situation here cannot be described. So invading Rafah means that you will end the teeny hope that is still we still have. So what does this mean to me? Actually, I'm actually a little bit worried about the safety of the entire people here, because invading Rafah, which means that hundreds of thousands will be killed if something like that happened. So I'm expecting and I'm hoping from the U.S. government to put a serious pressure on the Israeli government in order to prevent such a catastrophe from to happen.
What would it mean for your family, Mohammed, if the Israeli military does launch a full-scale invasion of Rafah? And can you describe what the process is for people to leave, to make their way into Egypt, the thousands of dollars that must be spent? I think on average it's something like $5,000 per adult and $2,000 or $2,500 per child.
Let me say first, leaving Gaza Strip toward Egypt, I mean the entire people here. If there is an invade or march or there is any marching to Rafah, actually the most of the world, including the U.S. government itself, actually they refuse that entirely. People, the Palestinians, will not be moved. They refuse that entirely to be moved to the Sinai or the Egyptian side. But let me say that I'm already displaced because I lost my house by bombing some near houses near my house at the same square. So I forced to move to another place at the same area, Rafah city, because I'm from Rafah, and the same thing for the people who were displaced from the rest of Gaza Strip cities. For me, or for my experience, for me and my family, we suffered a lot first when we were at our house in order to provide the basic life needs, as I mentioned, the basic food. Even if there is any food here, you will find that very, very high prices that the normal citizen or the normal civilians cannot really afford. So it's impossible to the people in such a situation to afford any kind of food. And let me say that the any things that is entering from Rafah cross-boarding, anything literally, it's not even enough for maybe 500,000. We are talking about a number that over than that with a big thing. So for my experience, I faced several things. First of all, we faced actually a very real threats, and it's not once, it's not even twice. We are even facing that daily. This is according to the physical thing. And also I want to mention that we are facing a severe symptoms related to our mental health. Actually, I'm not sure that I'm going to be the person that I used to be before the war, when the war ends. I'm 100% sure that I'm not. I was changed, and I was changed forever. It's not me only. I'm talking about my family and the rest of the people here of Gaza Strip. We are facing severe symptoms when we are talking about the mental health. We are talking about children that are raising in such situations. Of course, they are going to have severe symptoms and many horrible things for their mental health, and they will carry that to their entire life. So from all sides, people here are really suffering. Yeah.
Mohammed, you are a poet. You translate Edgar Allan Poe. Now you are a medical translator. Can you describe your work?
Okay, yeah, I used to work to translate novels as a literary translator, but this war, or this catastrophe, let me say, I don't prefer to use the word war, because what we are witnessing is a catastrophe that cannot be described. Anyway, yeah, I used to translate literature, which means that I'm a sensitive person with many emotions, so you need that in order to translate poetry or translate novels or something like that. So as this catastrophe changed us forever, all of us, even our jobs. So yeah, I moved to be a medical translator and medical interpreter at a field hospital here near between Rafah city and Khan Yunis city in the south of Gaza Strip. Actually, my work as a medical translator, it was the first time to be in the field actually in such situations, and I can say that I'm witnessing a very horrible very horrible situations. I'm witnessing daily many casualties that are arriving to the field hospital because we don't have any. We lost every governmental medical services because of the destruction of many hospitals. Even the only hospital here in Rafah, which is Al-Najjar Hospital, it cannot provide the necessary medical health services. So in the field hospital, which established by the IMC and the International Medical Corps, they are actually in only 2 months. They performed about 1,000 major surgeries, which is really a great thing to have. And even related to the outpatient departments, we are talking about consultations of maybe 30,000. So yeah, we are trying hard to provide our people with the necessary medical services, as well as the mental health and the CP, which is this child protection. We are doing our ultimate efforts in order to try hard in order to provide the people, or the civilians and the innocent people here, to provide them with the medical services and other services. And let me use what Michel Foucault once said, because we are no prophets. Our jobs is to make windows where we once walls. So we are trying hard is to create windows on the walls that this catastrophe is trying to build.
Finally, Mohammed Abu Lebda, we're going to be joined by Rachel Corrie's parents and the activist who held her hand as she lay dying. This is 21 years ago in Rafah. She was crushed to death by an Israeli military bulldozer as she tried to prevent the demolition of a Palestinian home. You shared with us a picture from Rafah in 2003. You were a little boy at the time, with the caption, "My grandmother with her neighbor and my sister Azan," after their home was destroyed by an Israeli bulldozer, right around the time Rachel was trying to protect homes as a U.S. activist. Your thoughts on her significance and how is she remembered in Rafah?
Okay, let me say that Rachel Corrie is being remembered. Every single person here in Rafah, and in Gaza in general, in Gaza Strip in general, and especially of Rafah, every single person knows Rachel Corrie. Even the late generations, all of them. Allow me to tell you the main reason. Actually, Rachel Corrie became an icon, not only here in Gaza Strip, not only for the Palestinians, the Palestinian people, but for the rest of the world, because she passed away, or she was killed because of her. Because she was trying to deliver a very important message. It's the most important message in the world, which is peace. And actually, for me, this is the main thing that we need to focus on in order to achieve what Rachel Corrie was dreaming to achieve, which is a peace for the Palestinians. What matters for me in Rachel Corrie story is that she left her home, she left her parents and her family, and she came to a country that she never visited before, and actually she came into a conflict zone, which is considered as a dangerous zone. So even her ideas to come to here, actually, it's a bravery. She's really. Actually, I want to say that she's being remembered here because of the story and the message she tried to deliver, and this actually this and Rachel Corrie's story should strengthen us here while we are living these horrible situations. We need to remember Rachel Corrie and her courage to come to a dangerous area. Not only that, trying to defend the people, the voiceless people, to be the voice of the voiceless people here, and to stand in front the ultimate power. She stands in front tanks and bulldozers, trying to defend the people here in Gaza Strip, which actually I don't know what is a greater, what act will be greater than Rachel Corrie did. So I'm really grateful for Rachel Corrie, and I want to say that people like Rachel Corrie will never die, ever.
Well, Mohammed Abu Lebda, poet and translator from Rafah, thank you so much. Your words are being heard around the world and by her parents, who are going to be joining us next. I'm looking at your GoFundMe page, Mohammed, which quotes another poet. You say, "All what we seek for is to live like any human being in this earth. Helping us means you are taking action, supporting humanity." Because the famous poet Dante said, "The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who in times of great moral crisis maintain their neutrality." Thank you for talking to us today on Democracy Now!, Mohammed Abu Lebda. Next up, we continue to remember the U.S. peace activist Rachel Corrie. killed 21 years ago, March 16, 2003, when she was crushed to death by an Israeli military bulldozer as she tried to prevent the demolition of the home of a Palestinian pharmacist. It was 3 days before the U.S. invaded Iraq.